Hello and welcome to Selling Sheet Music, a podcast for composers, arrangers, and songwriters to learn more about publishing and marketing their sheet music. I'm your host, Garrett Breeze. Thanks for listening. This podcast is brought to you by HolidayChoirMusic.com. Give your choir the gift of new music this holiday season by commissioning a new work or choosing from our exciting collection of music for Christmas, Easter, Hanukkah, and other holidays. Use the code PODCAST at checkout to get 50% off your first order. Listeners, you are in for a treat this morning. I'm very pleased to welcome you to day one of JW Pepper Week on Selling Sheet Music. We've got a special run of 5 episodes planned for you this week, ending on Friday with a very special episode 50 of the Selling Sheet Music podcast. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you'll check back in every morning this week to hear the latest. In case you need a refresher, JW Pepper is one of the largest sheet music retailers and distributors in the world. They carry well over 1 million titles, and they're also the creators of MyScore, the self-publishing platform which we have talked about on the show numerous times. Speaking of which, if there are any composers listening to this that have not yet signed up for MyScore, you can use the code PUBLISH20 to get 20% off the $99 setup fee. I was recently invited to take a tour of JW Pepper headquarters just outside of Philadelphia. While I was there, I got to meet a ton of new people and record much of the content you'll hear this week. We're going to kick things off today by getting to know the MyScore product team. That is Isaac Brooks, Liam Thomas, and Kyra McEntee. These are the awesome folks behind the scenes, answering emails, working on product uploads, and everything else that happens on the back end to make the magic happen. Thanks again for listening, and let's get into it. All right. Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hi.
So this is a bit of a special episode. I am actually sitting in the JW Pepper conference room in Pennsylvania, the John Philip Sousa Memorial Conference Room.
Ooh.
And we are here with the MyScore staff. So we've got Isaac Brooks, who you have met before. This is your third time on the show, I believe.
Third time on the show, hopefully not the last.
Hopefully not the last. And then why don't you introduce our other two guests?
Yes, so we have Liam Thomas and Kyra McEntee, and they are 2 new additions to our MyScore staff, and they are awesome.
Aw.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we just thought it would be fun for listeners to get to know the people that are responding to emails and handling updates and customer service and all that stuff for MyScore users. You know, when they input things on the site, like these are the people that handle it on the back end.
Right.
So let's start with you, Kyra. Why don't you just give us quickly your background and what you do for MyScore and, you know, where you came from and
Where I came from.
all of that.
Wow. Well, I'll start with what I do for MyScore. I came on as a digital media associate, which means I kind of dabble in media and marketing. But mostly what I do is I get the daily uploads. That's what I call it, the daily upload. I get all of the MyScore uploads that we receive every day and make sure that they make it on the website. So,
How many do you get every day? Sorry to interrupt you.
It really depends on the day because, like, if it's on the weekend, there's not a lot of uploads on, like, Sundays because people know it's not going to be on the website until Monday. But I think we're averaging at about, like, 40 to 60 products a day.
Or if it's a holiday weekend, we'll get over 100.
Oh, yeah. I had, like, 107 in just one day the other day. The serial composers hit us. Some people like to upload.
Why were you
a lot
looking at me
once.
when you said that?
But yeah, I'm the first line of defense for that. I make sure everything makes it on there, all the assets, all of the sheet music. And then I'm also the editor for anything MyScore. Basically, if you need to replace your PDF, I got you. New MP3. Yeah, that's basically what I do here. I also do some stuff for media. I help with the catalog and stuff. So.
And what's your primary instrument?
My primary instrument is my voice, actually. I did play the clarinet growing up, but I definitely use my voice a lot more often.
And how did you decide voice was the thing that you wanted to do and not clarinet or some other instrument or sports ball?
Well, I'm really bad at sports. I'm not good at it. I tried every sport growing up, and I never got into it. And I liked the clarinet, but again, I wasn't the best at it. It was more of just like a hobby, but I've always loved singing, no matter what. Like, I've always been in it 100%. I thought I was going to be on Broadway at one point. You know how it is.
You
But
still might be.
maybe. But yeah, I've always enjoyed singing more. I think it's, especially with the classical singing, it's a challenge, and I like a challenge. So.
That's great. What about you, Liam?
For the MyScore team, I guess, I really have just kind of scratched the surface a little bit. I'm answering some support things and stuff like that, but I guess primarily I was brought on to be somewhat of a composer consultant, I think, in the way that I'm going to help make sure that the scores that are being uploaded and the music that's being presented is going to be as best quality it can be in terms of like just providing support, I guess, for composers.
And how long have you been working for MyScore?
3 days. This is my third day.
This is breaking news, people. I got the scoop. No one else knows about this. I'm the one that found you. No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, I'm still getting acclimated and everything, but I'm already starting to feel like it's a pretty good fit. I can answer questions, and I have a background in composition. I guess if that's going to transition a little bit more into my background, I studied composition all through college and grad school that I just recently finished. I finished both degrees, bachelor's and master's at Westchester University, studying composition. So, all the score prep, making the score look good, making sure, you have a decent quality recording to at least preview, what you can do as a composer. It's all part of the process, and I think that's going to segue me into nicely being able to provide support, I suppose.
Did you say what your instrument was, or was I not paying attention?
No, my primary instrument's guitar. I'm a guitar player, and then I dabble with the keyboard as well. Mostly MIDI keyboard nowadays, I guess. For
Don't we all?
Yeah.
So yeah, mostly I've dabbled in both areas of composition, writing for the screen and for sitting down and writing for ensembles that need sheet music. That's where my path has taken me.
That's great. So based on, Kyra, we'll throw this one to you. Based on all of the uploads and the edits and everything that you have been getting, do you have any advice for composers listening to this that are submitting music to MyScore? Any things that would make your life better? Any things that would make their music better if they would just fix it now?
Oh, man.
And keep in mind, we only have 10 minutes. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, there's a lot of things. I think the biggest thing I would say is just take your time. I know you get excited when you're on there and you want to, you just want to get your first piece out there. But a lot of times you'll, miss steps, and a lot of times I'll have to delete it and, we'll have to start from square one. So I think taking your time is something that would make my life a little easier, I guess.
You're talking about in the actual upload process or in the writing the piece?
In the upload process. Yeah. Because they usually have a fully fleshed out piece. It's just sometimes, a lot of times I'll get just a score and no instrument parts to go with it. And the instrument parts are kind of essential because no one's really gonna just buy a score. They're gonna want the instrument parts to go along with it. So things like that, make sure you have a full package to sell. Really check on that paper sizing.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of common mistakes, and I get it because it's common sense for us, but it's not common sense for them.
Well, and that's exactly why I'm asking, because it's such an unusual. I mean, it's not something you do day to day. I'm going to go publish a piece of music.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest things is someone will put the double size for something, because obviously when you have a big score, it's not 9 by 12 all stapled together. It's 12 by 18 folded in half. So they put the 12 by 18 instead of putting 9 by 12 because technically the page size is only 9 by 12. We understand that we need to use 12 by 18 paper, but Yeah, that's something that would
Did that
save me a
happen
lot.
today?
Yeah, it happens every
sorry.
day. And anything landscape has to be coil bound. That's a very important. Anything landscape or anything bigger than.
I don't think I knew that. So
Yeah, anything landscape has to be coil bound, and anything 8.5 by 14 or bigger. So anything that exceeds like 9 by 12 also has to be coil bound. So that would actually help a lot because I have to go in and put all of the coil bound for everyone.
there you go.
So those are a couple things that I think would be good to
Keep
know.
that in mind.
All right, so obviously, Liam, you've only been working here 2 days, 3 days, but you've worked with composers before. You have a background as a composer. Any thoughts as you jump into it for composers that are kind of on the fence about this whole thing, whether or not it's even worth it to self-publish?
Well, for that matter, yeah, I think it absolutely is worth it. It's minimal cost to be able to get your music out there, and someone like who's, hasn't had a huge jump in a career in terms of writing music, just because I'm pretty much fresh into the field. Having an opportunity like that to put your music somewhere and have even if it's not going to sell all that much, it's good to know that there's a location that you can have a place where someone can say, hey, this actually looks like a good piece of music that I can use. Let me buy it, and then you're going to get a good product. Or even for yourself, you can purchase your own product and have a nice copy of it So self-publishing, I think, is a big part of the future. I mean, that's something that I always was told and learned in school was like, self-publishing is absolutely the way to get started. So it's a good place to start. And then in terms of like tips, I guess, already, even though I've only been here not very long, I've noticed that like a lot of the stuff to see, when people are saying, hey, how can I get my music on there? One of the first things that I've been doing is like checking out their website or a link that they send me. So like having a place where it's easy to see what your music is and what your status is as a composer and how your music can fit into the catalog, I think is a good place to start. Make it easily accessible. Just like how it will be easily accessible when it's on MyScore, your website could maybe, make us on the team looking at your music have an easier way to find it.
That's great. I have some musical get-to-know-you questions for the two of you.
Oh boy.
All right. So we'll start with a softball. Kyra, what is your favorite performance you've ever been a part of?
Gosh. Okay. I was in marching band in high school, and my junior year we did this show called Amun Ra, and it was all like Egyptian themed, and it was just like written really well.
That's cool.
And for me, I think a recent one, because I play in kind of a hard rock metal group at the moment, where I'm trying to use my composition skills as well to make lots of different things happen. We were able to open up for a pretty big touring band, I think, in Reading. That was a great experience.
Cool.
I want to answer that.
Yes.
So I play the cello, and a lot of my stuff is classical, like Vivaldi, Telemann, all the stuff that everyone knows. But I was in a Foo Fighters cover band called White Limo.
Yes.
And we would perform at like Pumpkin Palooza down at the World Cafe Live. And everyone flips out when they see the giant violin come on stage. Of course, they've had a few extra, adult beverages, but it made it fun.
All right. We'll start with you, Liam, on this one. If you had a theme song, who would record and or compose it? So you can choose your artist or your writer, whatever is going to be the best fit for your personality.
Oh, gosh. I'm a huge influence on me, and especially like for what I wrote for like my thesis and everything. Bon Iver is a huge influence of mine, folk artist. I think that's a pretty good
All right.
all
Okay.
around, guitars and vocals and all that good stuff. I think it represents me.
Andrew Lloyd Webber, because I needed to be dramatic and a little weird.
There you go. What about you, Isaac?
Telemann.
Telemann. Going old school. Yeah. I like it. Favorite key signature, Isaac?
A minor.
A minor.
G major.
I'll go with C major.
There you go. Nothing wrong.
That's the best one.
Nothing wrong
It's
with
the
that.
best.
No
one.
flats,
That's
please.
right.
Just no
No, yeah.
string instruments.
All right, give our listeners some homework. What is a band or a composer or an album that you feel like needs to be appreciated more and they should go listen to right now?
I'm gonna stick on the Bon Iver train. For Emma Forever Ago, really good, just vocal writing and everything. It's great.
I think you need to go listen to a guy named Joe Jackson. He's also on MyScore, but emerging composer out of UT, Texas, and Austin, Texas, and great commissions, great music. Could be the next John Williams.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
I'm going to go with Billie Eilish's new album. It's really experimental and like satisfying to listen to. Really cool, really different than what she's been doing. So I'm really enjoying that lately.
Awesome. Well, to wrap things up, Isaac, do you want to give just a little bit of an update on where things are at with MyScore and the MyScore team and what to look for in the next couple of months?
There's a lot of exciting things happening with MyScore. Obviously, the growth of our team is one indication of that. But coming soon, towards the end of the summer, we'll have a new user experience for MyScore, new profiles, improved upload process. Sales reports are going to look really slick. A lot of really cool stuff that we've been able to implement after over a decade of working with composers and finding out what their needs are and really getting out there and understanding what kind of music people want to sell. So we're really excited about that. And of course, we're going to be doing a lot to promote MyScore and make sure the music is getting to the right place. So be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. Any parting words of wisdom from either of you? Anything you want to say to the MyScore user base?
If you're doing music, don't stop. don't. I often get in a rut because and I like feel hopeless, but like you just got to keep going because we're an underappreciated industry. So we need to keep going for the sake of the kids, all the kids in the band programs and the choir programs. That's what we're doing it for.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. I mean, just keep going as a composer. It's gonna ebb and flow. There's gonna be ups and downs. Just keep putting yourself out there. I think the MyScore would be a great place to start, especially for me too. As speaking from experience, I'm excited to get my music in a place that can be accessed and published. So I'm excited.
And don't stop listening to the Selling Sheet Music podcast.
There you go. Well, thanks to all of you, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you and from MyScore in the future.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Selling Sheet Music. If you like the show, please leave us a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can email Garrett at breezetunes.com to get in touch with me, and you can find my music at garrettbreeze.com. Selling Sheet Music is written, produced, and hosted by me, Garrett Breeze. Post-production for this episode was done by Jacob Mulaski, and our theme music was written by myself and David Dykstra. I'll see you next week. Now go write something.